Hey guys, and welcome to season 3 of the Us People podcast. I'm your host Savia, and in this season I get to make my guests laugh, cry, and even make them think about life a little differently with the questions I fire over to them, which digs into their lives and professions a little differently. We even had a chance to change up the intro, giving you a fresh, new sound. I look forward to sharing season 3 of the Us People podcast with you. Let's go.
Yo, this is IAMSUUBI, and you're listening to the Us People podcast with Savia.
Made up my mind, now is my time to shine. Now is my time to shine. Time that you let go, time that you let go. Now is my time to shine.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast. I'm your host Savia, and today we are actually out of the studio. We're in another studio because I have a beautiful artist and producer whose name is Subi. Subi, I want to thank you so much for coming on the Us People podcast. How are you?
Oh man, thank you so much. I feel honored. This is crazy because this is like the first podcast I've ever done. So this is like an experience. It's going to be an experience. I don't know what to expect.
But that's the beautiful thing about it. And
yeah.
I know that I've already seen you perform.
Yeah.
And the crowd went wild, even to a point where I saw you in tears.
Yeah.
And
I got mad emotion at my last gig, actually.
I love that. That was so beautiful. So my first question for you, Subi, is could you tell us about you, but also where you grew up and how that influenced you to be the beautiful person who you are today?
I mean, so it's a bit of I was a bit all over the place, but I was originally born in Uganda. And then moved to Sweden. So then I grew up in Sweden, and then I moved here about 6 years ago. So 10 years in Uganda, 10 years in Sweden, and then 6 years here. So yeah, that's pretty much my whole life. So you can do the math, so you know how old I am.
Hey, I'm not going to calculate it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to calculate it.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, that's kind of, and they're all kind of different. All three places are different, and they have their own kind of unique touch to them. And I guess that's what's kind of molded me or like helped shape me into the person I am today in terms of like my approach with people, in terms of just everything that I do, you know?
See, I love that. I totally love that. Can you define who you are as a person, but also who do you see when you look in the mirror? But on the flip side of that question, he's smiling. I can see right through his mic.
This is crazy, right? Because I'm thinking, right? How do I define myself as a person? I'm a creative, free spirit. Yeah, just creative, free spirit, you know, but with a big heart. So in those 3 words, actually, like those 3 statements there.
Has there ever been a time when you have looked in the mirror and not recognized the person staring back at you? Because before we even get to your music,
At points, yeah.
How was it for you? Because I always ask people this question. Looking in the mirror says so much to us, and I always say it's like an element of truth.
Yeah.
How is it for you when you look in the mirror, say 5 years ago, compared to you looking in the mirror now?
I mean, I definitely see growth. I see character development, you know, because there's like a lot's happened within those 5 years.
Yeah.
So I felt like, I feel like I do see my battle scars in quotation mark, actual literal scars. Like I managed to get chicken pox in that span of 5 years. I'd never had it before. So I see like scars in my face, but it was like, it's almost a type of like, it's a metamorphosis, you know. I'm kind of becoming the person. I'm realizing who I am, and I'm getting more comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
And then from there is where I want to grow.
I love that.
Yeah.
I totally love that. So how did the journey of music begin for Subi?
That's a deep one. That's a crazy one. The journey of music, it's always been there since like the very beginning. My earliest memories are attached to specific songs.
Yeah.
So Killing Me Softly.
Oh.
Yeah. This is like the Lauryn Hill,
Yep.
the Lauryn Hill version, the Fugees version. And Oh, what's the other song? I think it was Whitney Houston.
Oh, which song?
Whitney Houston, and I think this was like almost like a remix, and she did it with Bob Marley. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna have to try and remember that one. Let me look for it.
Kind of goes, my love is your love.
That's it. My love is your love.
My love
There
is
you
your
go.
love. Yeah.
There you go.
So those are like my earliest like memories. And I was just like, my ear just glued to the radio, just listening to like, because I was just like fascinated. I just love sounds.
So, producer, songwriter, and artist, I always have to emphasize what you are. The reason being is because being a producer has a whole world of its own.
Oh, yeah.
Being a songwriter now, you are literally taking your emotions of words, and words are powerful.
Yeah.
Of how you feel, and you're putting that down for the world to hear. I know I've interviewed artists and they get so sentimental and emotional when they talk about their work. So let's talk about the power of words in your music.
The power of words, it's scary actually. I would describe it more like that. It's not scary, but it's like, it's just beautiful because this may sound a little bit out there, but I feel like when you're in a creative realm or in a creative space, you're almost conjuring up something. So you're like plucking from the different elements and the aspects of the fabric of reality around you.
That's
and
true.
You're like kind of turning it into this own living thing because art moves people, so it makes people feel.
Yep.
So in that retrospect, it's like, it's a very powerful thing. It's a very powerful thing because now we're making something that makes people feel, whether it's rage, whether it's happiness, sadness, whether it's, I'm just in a club, I'm turning up, but it's still, it makes me feel something, and that's very powerful.
That is true.
That
is true.
And I do believe in the power of like the pen, because it's like we literally write our own fates.
That is true.
And that's really scary. That's the scary part.
What is the hardest, what has been the hardest song for you to write to this point?
The hardest song for me to write?
The hardest song for you to write emotionally to this point?
Oh, emotionally? There are a couple. I mean, a lot of them are quite emotional. But I think the one in particular is Closure, actually.
Yeah.
It's Closure. And that's the one that you saw me perform. And that's the one where every time I perform that song, I get really emotional. But that's because I'm kind of, that sums up 2019 for me. 2019 in particular was a very tumultuous kind of traumatic year for me in terms of emotionally, and there was a lot of changes that happened in my life, and there were a lot of adjustments, and I was faced with, I guess, new aspects of myself that I had not quite dealt with before,
Yeah.
And it was a journey, and it's been a journey ever since, because I feel like coming out of that, I do have more of a sense of self.
I can see that. Even when you're talking to me now, I can see it through the connection of energy. I can see it coming through. And that's the beautiful thing about being an artist, is you're sharing your feelings all the time.
Yeah.
But you must also feel very vulnerable.
Yes, I do. I think it's that because it was around that time I realized, okay, like I can write really cool music, I can produce really cool music, but you feel like, but do they know me though? And I feel like when you allow yourself to really dig deep, and really just, and whatever you find there, you find, and you just put it into art. It's beautiful. Like when you're done, and then you listen to it, and you're like, wow, I often quite find that like further down the line, when it's like maybe a couple of years after I've made a song, I listen to it, and then because it's like almost fresh ears, and you almost feel like I really understand what I was going through then, and I'm glad I put it down, because that's what it is. We show so much of ourselves in our music and our art, actually, just in the creative space in general. You're just showing a lot, and that's the scary part, because you really have to just say, yep, this is me.
Well, that's what I like about it. I think that's the most beautiful thing you're able to do. So I had a chance to listen to a lot of your music, literally I had Hearts all down my Spotify.
That's crazy.
I was playing it in the car.
That's crazy.
Because when I am about to interview someone, I want to know as much as I can about them.
Yeah.
So, My Soul to Keep,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
With a beautiful yet dramatic piano
Mm-hmm.
in there. And then you have Save My Soul.
Yeah.
There are so many things that I can say about your music.
Oh, shit.
Because you're talking about your life, where you've been through. I even heard parts where it had your father and your brother in.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to let that out
Mm-hmm.
about your family life as well,
Mm-hmm.
that's saying a lot about who you are as a person. How do you feel about being so vulnerable and letting people know about your family? And how do you feel that the world actually reflects in your music? And how do they treat you in your music?
I mean, I guess me showing a portion, because I don't feel like I'm letting everyone completely in. It's just a snippet. And I think that's the beauty of it as well, too. But it also gives people chance to, like, everyone goes through stuff.
We all do, naturally.
And it's just more relatable. And then it's just a sense of, like, that really reflected. I really wanted to show who I was within that project. That was the intent.
Yeah.
I did that intentionally. Just because I actually wanted to give people a chance to actually get to know. Because you can just make mindless music. Not mindless music, but you can just put out music. And, like, when there's no real connection somehow, And we all have different ways of revealing aspects of ourselves,
True.
And I chose to do it through my music, but some people do it more visually. Like, it's all different, and it's all about perspective, really. But it just felt right for me in the moment. That's really what I can break it down to. And it's the reason why it's so powerful is just because it's authentic. It comes from a real place.
Yeah.
And no one can really take that away from me.
I totally love that. Music has so much competition.
Yeah.
You can go on Instagram, you can go on all these platforms, SoundCloud, and there are millions of people doing music.
Yeah.
Now, the one question I want to ask you is, how do you feel that you stand out compared to all those millions of people out there in the world? I like the way you did that.
I mean, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for all of them, but I feel like I just care. That's it.
I like that.
Yeah, I just care.
So you have more of the compassion for the work that you do.
Yeah, I actually just care about what I do. That's all. That's as simple as that.
Talk to me about your process of writing.
Oh, it's it's crazy because it's like the way I romanticize my life. It's mad. Like, I'll walk to the store, but I'll just romanticize it, and it's like, and I'll just make it sound so deep. But that's pretty much the writing process. Like, I just take from actual events and I just romanticize them.
So is it like a movie, for example?
Yeah.
So say, for example, you had a 5-minute trip
Yeah.
from your home to the store.
Yeah.
You would literally make a video out of it.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
Kind of like that, yeah. But then the dimensions that you're working with are more it's more audio. So you don't too much have of the visual aspect of it. So it's just audio. Yeah. So me describing this, 5-minute almost screenshot of my life in a song format is how you really bring it to life. That's how you get immersed in it.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is so true. What about the producing side of things? I want to go a little bit deeper into producing as well.
Yeah.
Because I know I've worked with a lot of producers in my time.
Yeah.
And I know that they get into this space.
Yeah.
Where it's just them, their equipment, their music, their emotions. How is producing for you? Forget words for a second.
Yeah.
Because I know that words bring the song to life.
Yeah.
But when people are in the zone, sometimes, and I've seen this in a nightclub, sometimes they don't even zone out necessarily on the words, but it's the music they're feeling.
Yeah, so that's actually, so my writing process is very much connected to the music. Because majority of the time I produce the majority of like the initial ideas. But I still work with other producers, and I love doing that as well too, because then it brings out a different aspect of me as an artist. But now I'm kind of diverging a little bit, so I'm gonna bring it back. Don't worry about that. So when it comes to production, I get that, being in your zone.
Yeah.
Because it like just the it's hypnotic almost. It's very hypnotic. Like the music just kind of draws you in, you know? And I know what it's like as an artist to just watch a producer kind of zone out and almost shut you out. But I also know what it's like as a producer to sit there and zone in and lock in and just kind of shut out the artist, because it's just about developing your idea and really, you know, and it can be, I know what it's like on both sides, but I try and like bridge the gap. So being overly communicative and stuff, I tend like that kind of helps me, you know. I'll like communicate to that. I'll be like I'm gonna just flesh out this idea real quick, okay? Just like hang tight. I'm not ignoring you, you know, just so they know, and then they can kind of, and a lot of the times they'll start either adding to it or they'll start singing to it, or and then you just start bouncing off of each other, you know, because for me that's the sweet spot, when the producer is just as I'm writing, they're also simultaneously working on the beat as well too.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like, you talk about pain.
Pain, yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
You talk about pain a lot, so I'm going to go more deeper into your soul as an individual.
That's okay, yeah.
Right? So where does all this pain come from? I want to know more about Subi. Please only reveal what you want to reveal.
That's okay, yeah.
But where does all this pain come from? Has there been a point in your life where that you can share with us, that we can relate to or know more about you, where the pain has come from and you're like, you want to reveal it more, or you want to express it more?
I mean, I'll try and keep it like, I'll go in as much as I can, or as much as I feel like going in on it. But it's like, I wouldn't necessarily say that I had the most conventional like childhoods like that, because I moved around quite a lot as a child. So it's kind of like, you know, the readjusting and stuff. So there's an element of that. But there's also an element of like, there was a lot of, I guess, there was a lot of emotional trauma like that I experienced around me.
Yeah.
You know, and it could be in, you know, family setting, friend setting, love setting. But it's because I'm very, I like to say I'm almost hypersensitive when it comes to, I'm very sensitive when it comes to emotions and what other people are feeling around me, and then what I'm feeling as well too. So it's just that, you know, me being in an environment that's like really like kind of sad, or just me feeling sad because something has happened to me, you know.
Would you say you're more spiritual in the terms of you being like an empath?
I internalize a lot. So it's just that. So it's just like I've just internalized just a lot that's happened, like that I've seen happen around me, and that's also happened to me. So I've just internalized it all. And I mean, I'm aware of it now. So I'm also working on not really carrying that around with me, because now like once it's said, or once it's like put out there, then I can just release it, you know, I can let go, which is nice. So that's why I do that in like the song format, you know, so I can release it and I can let go.
Let's talk about the positivity of what you do in your music. So let's talk about the happy side, okay?
Yeah.
What is the happiest vibe you've ever had in a studio writing a song, and how does it make you feel knowing that you are doing something that you love every day?
The happiest vibe.
I love saying the happiest vibe.
No, it's okay. It's just that they've all been different. They've all been, you know, because it could be like I made a track. I didn't necessarily say the most profound stuff, but I impressed myself, you know, and everyone else is impressed, and now we're all kind of, you know, like, whoa.
I think you naturally just do that. From seeing you live, I think you naturally just set the crowd on fire.
I like to keep things lighthearted. I like to, it's nice. Like, I can be very deep, but there's a whole other side that's like way more like lighthearted, and like the depth is just like, it's just one aspect of me, you know? But there's also like a much more like, there's a clown side. I've always been a bit of a clown to myself, you know?
Nothing wrong with being a clown. I think the clown is one of the greatest things that you can do. Actually, it brings out your childhood self.
It does, yeah. And you can bring that out in other people as well too. Because it puts them in that state as well too. Because now they're finding, it's,
Let's talk about the future of Subi, because this is something that I want to talk about. I'll only reveal what you want to reveal
That's all
in
right.
the terms of singles or EPs that may be coming out. So let me throw this right over to you. What is the future of beautiful Subi?
The future. So there's an EP coming out because I've been dropping a series of singles.
Yeah.
And now there is an EP coming out, and this EP is called Dear London. So Dear London has a bit of everything. It's all the different sounds that have inspired me at some point, and some more. And some more is basically the element of entity. So Con, Elliot, Freddie as well too. It's also a team effort. It's a team effort too. So shout out to them. But
I like that.
shout out to them. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like it's got different vibes, different genres. We go from drill to R&B to trap soul to just a little bit of everything. But then it just has something else, a different aspect. Like not necessarily a different aspect, but it's just me. It's just me on the songs. I can't really explain it. It's so funny because I'm trying to come at it from like a very creative standpoint, but really and truly, it's amazing. It's really sick. It's it's really sick, and I pushed myself with this project as well too, in terms of the sounds that I experimented with. You know, the different sonics and the different aesthetics as well too, the sound aesthetics. You know,
I'm interested to hear this.
yeah. So it's like pop feel. You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
when can it be expected to come out?
When can it be expected to come out? I guess we're looking at between September and October.
Okay.
Yeah, between September and October.
Guys, you better look forward to that, and I'm definitely
man.
gonna promote. Hey, look, he's gone all shy now. The one thing I love about Subi is he holds a humbleness that I wish you guys could see. He holds a sincere humbleness, and even like I said to you before, when I went to see him live, and he had tears in his eyes afterwards when he performed, and everyone was embracing him. So it's always beautiful to know that someone is doing something sincere, and this is what I want to express to you guys. Always try to do some. I know it's hard out there to do something that you love every day.
Damn.
I know it's extremely hard for you to do something that you love, but I'm always about embracing you in positivity, kindness, and compassion, for you to have kindness towards yourself first of all, because I know how the world can be, and I know how people in the world can be. Sometimes people have privilege and they don't realize that somebody without the privilege has to work twice or even 3 times as hard as they do. So if you have the chance to even have a snippet of happiness, grab it, absorb it, and take it with you wherever you go, because I always say, I'm just saying what I see every day, and it's just a natural, Subi is just a natural thing. And it's important for me to make people aware that you can have an opportunity in life for you to do what you want to do, just like you have. And that's why it's so important for me to speak to people like yourself, because you're showing the world that no matter where you come from, no matter if you lived in 3 countries or 10, you can come from each country and take an element from it that you can put into your music to portray to the world. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate, and thank you for the kind words as well too, man. That's crazy. It just trips me out every time.
Listen, you deserve them. So, so you've got a lot more coming your way. You've ambiently got a lot more coming your way.
Damn.
No. What do you believe are the failures in music, and how do you believe we, the people in the music industry, can help change that so people get better opportunities in the terms of, say, for example, songwriting, publishing, record labels, because you don't necessarily need them anymore, because artists are getting more powerful just because of what they do. Yeah. But what would you say is one of the things that an artist can do so that they feel more powerful about their work?
Adaptability.
I like that.
Just being able to adapt. Just because one avenue is not really working out for you, it doesn't mean it's not you're not meant to do music. Like just being able to adapt.
I like that.
Yeah, just being able to adapt. Because I think the biggest thing for me is when, I guess, someone's been doing it and then they almost give up on their dreams.
Yeah.
So rather than giving up, adapt and then see where that can lead you.
I like the way you said that.
Yeah.
I definitely do. How do you take, here we go,
Yeah.
how do you take your work away from your personal life?
Damn, that one is really hard because I guess it's when I'm like downtime, when I actually spend my downtime and quality time with my friends and my family.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's how I do it, because a lot of the time there's always work. There's always work. I've always got work on my mind, but for me, the best time to really switch off is when I'm with friends and family.
I like that.
Yeah.
What is the one song that is stuck in your head at the moment that you just can't get out?
Oh. Just in general?
Just in general. It could be anything.
Could be anything. It's crazy because, you're now making me like, I'm like, oh, okay, so basically there is a project I'm working on right now, right? And like, I'm proud of this project. I'm very proud of this project, right? And it's an album. I've not set any release date or anything, but it's a project. It's like it's a full length album, but those are the songs. That's what's going through my mind right now. Like I do listen to like other music, but at the when you're just like, I'm constantly creating music.
Yeah.
I'm constantly creating music, so it's like I never had just one song stuck in my head.
It's a constant change of different songs.
Yeah, it's a jukebox. My brain's a jukebox, basically.
I would love to have a jukebox as a brain.
Oh, you would not.
I'll be spending a lot of money.
It's the first thing you hear in the morning and the last thing you hear before you go to bed.
Here is quite a controversial question.
Yeah.
When I first started doing the podcast, I remember it was only on the second episode where I had two rappers come in.
Yeah.
And one was a producer, rapper, and one was a rapper.
Yeah.
But the question was, and we got really deep into it, the question was, and I'd love to ask you this, a lot of artists don't take written songs from other people, right? I asked him the question of, would you take another song from another person if they wrote it for you? He said no. I said, why? He said, because I can write my own music. And I said, even if the song was perfect for you, would you still take it? And then he thought about it, reconsidered, and then his answer became yes.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear your views on this, because a lot of artists feel like
you're not a real artist
if you take something, unless you write your own music.
I mean, I don't really taking something. I think if we rephrase that a little bit, but like if you're given a piece.
Thank you.
If you're given a piece, or if you're proposed a piece to perform,
yeah,
then I don't really feel like there's anything wrong with that, because there's still an art form in that, because you're still performing it. And you're still going to perform your own unique take of it. So I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. But it's also a thing of, it depends in what realm you're in as well, too. So these were rappers that you were talking to. So
one was a rapper and a producer, one was a,
so unless they're in a very commercial space, if you're in a more kind of underground scene, then there's more integrity, there's more emphasis put on your penmanship, because that's a part of your skill.
Exactly.
But then in a more commercial space, I don't really think that matters in a commercial space. It's all about just making good music.
I agree with you there. I'm glad you said it like that, because we went on for a while. We went on for a while. Which one person do you believe has given you the biggest chance in your life?
Which one person? My mom.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, mommy.
Yeah, my mom.
Has there been a time where you have been in an obstacle in your life, but for the love of music, has helped you get out of it. How would you like to share the story?
Wait. So sorry. Say that again.
Have you ever been in an obstacle or overcome an obstacle in your life where music has played a huge detrimental part of it? How would you like to share a story about it?
No, I think that kind of sums up like my time here in London. Because
Okay.
I moved here specifically for that. And that's what's kept me going this whole time.
I love that.
Yeah.
I totally love that.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
How does empowerment make you feel in your music?
Empowered and independent and but it depends on what do you mean in terms of empowerment.
That's why I say,
It could also mean from a creative aspect, me just being able to produce my own tracks. That does give me a lot of power, but it also just allows me to be able to communicate my ideas better.
Yeah.
So then, say, for instance, when a better producer comes in or someone that's more, production is more of their thing, they can sort of understand my thinking and then they could enhance that. So I think it's just, empowerment for me just is being able to communicate your thoughts and communicate your ideas to the point where other people, it's quite concise and other people completely understand. Because that's what keeps things moving, basically.
I'm going to say a few different words to you.
Go on.
I want you to grasp the words, and then I want you to pick the best one that you want to talk about.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have power, perception, culture, religion, judgment, creativity, class, privilege, diversity, race, justice, and leadership. Which one would you choose to talk about that you feel is having a huge impact on the world today?
Race.
Go for it.
Race is a factor for me.
Go for it.
Race is a part of, I feel anyways that it's quite undeniable. Like it's an undeniable factor in terms of our perception. So like my perspective as a black man is going to be different from, I don't know, an Asian man or a white man or whatever, but it's always going to be, our perspectives are always going to be different because of the way we're perceived as well too.
Yeah.
So there's always an underlying element of that, but it's also because of the places I've grown up in as well too. But it just helped me kind of realize that, not in like a bad way or a negative way.
Yeah.
It's really not that, but it's I'm more in the headspace of I'm comfortable with who I am and the culture that I represent. So that's another one too. And that adds to my identity, and I can move. It helps me maneuver other parts of the world too. But I'm also very open, and I love to learn from other people, from other cultures, and like just basically see things from other people's perspective too. So that's why it's important to understand what your own perspective is, so you can clearly communicate that. But then also we should be able to listen to other people's perspectives, and that will then help us kind of gauge and see how we can make the world a better place for each other and stuff, you know, be more mindful and stuff, you know.
I think if we keep pushing forward,
yeah,
regardless of race,
I think it's about understanding each other's perspective. So
exactly.
That's why I say that race is a factor. So it's not like you can't ignore it and overlook it and say, oh, but I don't see race or I don't see color, because that's a big factor. It's a very big factor.
Yes. Sometimes I feel like because of the color of your skin, you always have to work, like I said to you before, 3 times as harder as the next person, because you automatically have that judgment upon you.
Yeah.
But I was taught, and it's a beautiful thing that a lady said to me. She said, people will have a perception of you, being even as a black woman. But the most beautiful thing is that you blow them away once you open your mouth.
Yeah.
And because they automatically think you're going to speak in a certain way,
exactly.
or you're going to have an attitude, and you're none of those things at all.
But even if you did speak a certain way, or if you did have an attitude, what's wrong with that?
There you go. There you go. So you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
But they have a certain perception of how you should be, which is judgment.
I understand that, and that's what I mean when I say like it's always a factor. And as soon as I understood that, I slowly really started to understand my perspective more, and then in turn, it helps me understand other people's perspective more. It's about seeing each other and really just acknowledging and recognizing each other, you know, because we don't do that, because I feel like we compare struggles too much.
That is true.
We all compare struggles too much, but it's about really just acknowledging and recognizing each other and helping each other.
I like that.
Yeah.
When was the last time you felt totally at peace with yourself?
Completely at peace?
Completely at peace. I mean that ambient peace.
I mean, I feel that now.
You do?
Yeah.
I like it. You do look relaxed,
Yeah,
actually.
I feel that now. I feel that
You
now,
do look
actually. I
really
do feel
relaxed.
that now. I do
I
feel
like it.
Considering that I was up until really late last night.
Yeah.
Like really late, yeah. But we ended up making a really cool song out of it too.
Well, that's what it's about.
Yeah, yeah.
That is really what it's about.
Yeah.
So if you could choose one quote that represents who you are as a person, what quote would you choose, and why would you choose that particular quote?
Oh, that's a very good
Oh,
one.
I got him thinking.
Well, I'm trying to think of all the different quotes I know to begin with.
We got time.
Yeah. Oh, I really don't know. I feel like I would want you to kind of throw some quotes at me like that, because I can't think of any like that right now.
Oh, my favorite quote is, and I just made it up because it's how I perceive the world.
Yeah.
And obviously because of the judgment that I've been through in my life, is how I treat you is a reflection of yourself. How you treat me is a reflection of yourself.
See, I was thinking something similar like that, but I don't know if anyone has quoted that. But basically, I was thinking just like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Well, then there you go. There's
Yeah.
your quote.
That's my life motto, kind of really, yeah.
How do you feel about spirituality in your music?
In my music, I don't think I have expressed or tapped into it in terms of being vocal about it in my music.
I wish people could see your face expression.
Yeah, I know. It's because I'm trying to like string together these sentences, like, because it's a thought process is happening as I speak. But in terms of the music, yes, it's got all types of energies attached to it.
Yeah.
The words do in a. I'm not necessarily speaking of spirituality, but it's definitely coming from something. It I guess impacts things in different realms. So like in a more emotional realm, because it makes me feel something.
Yeah.
You know.
I like that.
But I haven't touched into spirituality like that in my music.
I think there are a lot of things that you haven't touched on yet as an artist that you will.
Yeah.
As you continue to grow and evolve
Yeah.
as an artist, it will slowly just naturally come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh man. Thanks.
What are you most proud of that you stand for as an individual?
Equality. Yeah.
I love how
Equality.
smooth you said it. You just said it so smooth.
Yeah.
If there was this is going to be hard for you.
That's okay.
If there was one song that was the soundtrack of your life, what would it be, and why would you choose that particular song?
Juicy.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, juicy.
You knew already.
Yeah, that'll be juicy.
Okay, so everybody has a different definition of what success is to them.
Yeah.
What does success mean to you as a person and an individual in this world?
Success to me means that I can fully live off of my music. Completely live off of my music. As a person, knowing that I've got a home with people inside it where there's love. So with family.
I like that.
Yeah. So like, just as long as I just family. I'm very family like oriented and stuff. Although I'm like a bit of like a free spirit and I come and go as I please, but it's like I do my time spent at home with family is something that I really like cherish or like enjoy, you know.
I like that.
Yeah, and with friends as well too. Like quality time in general, just spending quality time with my loved ones is like my favorite thing to do.
What is the best advice you've ever received in your life?
Shout out to my cousin for giving me this piece of advice. Never be the smartest person in the room. That's what he told me.
Go a little bit deeper into that.
Well, basically, if you feel like you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to change your circle of like just the people you're around.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
You need to change that because that doesn't allow for growth.
That's true.
And being smart doesn't necessarily equate to like IQ. It could also be emotional intelligence as well too.
That is true.
Yeah.
I've only got 2 more for you before I decide to let you eloquently go.
Okay, no, that's fine.
So my second to last question for you is, what stands between you and complete happiness in your life?
What stands
between yourself and complete happiness?
Yeah, I got the question. Me.
I like that.
Yeah, it's me. It's just me. But that's a journey that because I don't think you achieve it straight away. I think for me, it feels like it's a journey. But then again, I feel like there's moments where I feel it as well too. So there are more moments where I feel it. It's a date. It fluctuates. It really fluctuates. But that's kind of how life is. You know, it's not one kind of straight, kind of line. It's more of a series of, some things you can predict, some things you can't predict.
It's kind of like a wave.
Yeah, it is a wave. It's basically a wave. Yeah, it's waves.
It's kind of like a wave. I would love.
Yeah.
If people would like to get to know you more, Subi.
Yeah.
Where can they? Like
I'm
he's
here.
Like, yeah.
Cool,
Just come.
Bro, like they can get to know me. It's fine. It's okay.
I would love for people to get to know you a lot more. So where can they find you on all your social media platforms if they would like to get in touch with you?
Spotify. You can Instagram. I'm like very active on Instagram. Twitter. I use Twitter as well too. Yeah, Twitter and Instagram, really. And the handle's the same everywhere. IAMSUUBI. I'm so glad I picked something that was like simple.
We need to get deeper into this. Come on, talk to me now. We need to get a little bit deeper into this. So what do you mean in the sense of your name?
Yeah, in terms of my name.
Why was you going to have something more complicated?
Bruv, if you heard the names that I used to have back in the day... Oh my days. But it's a part of the journey. And I felt like when I started embracing more and more of myself, that's when it just made more sense.
I like it. So don't worry about the other names, guys. Just go to Subi. IAMSUUBI, and you'll find him there. Subi, this is where I say thank you so much for your time, compassion, your patience, your wisdom, your love for life and music, and the fact that you are not afraid to express the being that you are in this world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Oh, thank you.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for listening to the As People podcast, and please remember you can subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and any other platform that you prefer listening to. Please also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can also donate to the As People podcast by simply going to the Savia Rocks website or just typing in paypal.me/Us People podcast. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another.
Peace and love.
Now's my time to let it go. Now's my time to let it go. Now is the time for me to focus. Stop all that playing hocus pocus. Stop doing it yourself. You need a little help. This time I wanna see you shining. I think you need.
Subi, we are good.
Yes, thank you, Savia.
Oh.
Trust in the process, forget all the losses. You know that it's worth it, cause nobody's perfect. Sometimes you need to say, I'm gonna be okay. Made up my mind, now is my time to shine. Now is my time to shine. Time that you let go, time that you let go. Now is my time to shine. Now is my time to shine. Now is my time to shine. Time that you let go, time that you let go. Now is my time to shine. Time to let it go. Now is my time, now is my time. Time to let it go. Now is my time, now is my time. Time to let it go. Now is my time, now is my time. Time to let it go. You are your own worst enemy. Thinking too far, what's ahead of me? One day at a time. Just enjoy the ride. Open those eyes, see the light. Ignite that fire inside it. Let it breathe breath into life. Push all your fears to the side. Control your mind, it's all alright. Enjoy your life, the joy is mine. Commit to you, you got the tools. Everything you do, you make the rules. Sometimes you need